All right. Hello, everybody. I'm excited. This is our second training, but this will be the first one that we are doing today that's going to really dive into our NPO checklist. So, my name is Jania Massey. I am the Chief Principal Officer for JSM Consulting Now LLC, but also you may know me as the founder and executive director of Stiletto Bosch University, which is a youth entrepreneurship training program. And what most people do not know is that I've had a consulting business since probably 2016, and I have been doing consulting, coaching, workshop facilitations, event planning, and production management for ever since then. And I have been full-time since 2016, but I have been in the nonprofit space and industry since 2013 when I started my very first nonprofit, which was called Philanthropy Circle 365. And we still have that philanthropic arm, and which is how we give back still to the community, but we also shifted into doing more consulting and coaching. So I'm really excited today to share with you guys the monthly topic. So our monthly topic today is going to be about the NPO checklist. So this is the NPO checklist. You can get it off of our website. It is a free downloadable, but I am going to be deep diving into this checklist, telling you why you need to have everything on this checklist if you want to start a nonprofit. So just a few housekeeping rules. You can put into the chat your questions. You can put into the chat comments. I will see it. And just there, but I am going to basically go through this whole entire checklist, and I will answer your questions along the way as I see them. But if not, I'm just going to keep flowing and growing. Okay. So let's hop into it. Let me share what we got here. All right. So let's get into it. So again, I'm going to be your facilitator for this training today. And the goal of this session is to turn chaos into clarity so you can truly begin the journey to transforming your nonprofit dreams into reality. So I hope that those that are watching today or that will watch the replay, I hope that you have your notepad and your pen and you're taking notes. And also, if you do want to comment as you're watching it, please put it again in the chat and I can come back and answer that at a later date. But I just want everybody to be clear on how you can go about starting a nonprofit. So I've already introduced myself. I've already done a welcome. I'm really not going to do too much of an icebreaker. I kind of told you a little bit about myself, but we're going to go into the nonprofit checklist. And then, of course, if you know me, if you've ever seen me facilitate or do a workshop or teach, you know I'm always about the action item. So what you going to do next, okay? So let's get it started. Let's kick it off. All right, so the first thing that you need to consider, on this slide, it says, why a nonprofit? And you need to ask yourself this question because that is what's going to keep you going. Because if you don't know why, you will throw that nonprofit to the side. You'll forget to turn in your 990 postcard or your anything to the IRS that you need. You'll forget to continue to submit your charitable solicitation license, which is a whole nother topic, which we'll probably cover before the end of the year. But you need to know why you want to start a nonprofit. So we all know that nonprofits are tax exempt, but we also know that you have for-profit businesses and some nonprofit organization. Oh, you're welcome. I don't know who said that, but you're welcome. Thank you for watching. But for those that don't know, nonprofits are a business. I say this all the time. Nonprofits are a business. It's just tax exempt. You still have the same bills. You still have the same things. The difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit, not just because it is tax exempt, but a nonprofit is really considered more of a community business because you are taking investment, which is how I look at it, from the community, which would be considered donations or grants, in order to pour back into the community into a problem that you see that is going on, right? So you really want to know why you're starting this, and you want that to be the fuel. Also, what problem are you solving in the community, right? So I will use my nonprofit as a case study. And I won't use Stellenbosch University. I'll use when I started my first nonprofit, PC Group 365. So the premise of PC Group 365 was to encourage people that look like me to volunteer. And what I noticed is that I would volunteer all the time. And of course, I'm serving people that look like me, but I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me that were serving alongside of me. And it wasn't stating that those people were not serving, but as I started to dive deep into researching, I realized that different cultures serve and give in different ways. And nothing is wrong with that. Mostly Black people, they give to church and they give to schools. You know, when you look into Asian culture, they give a certain type of way. Some organizations, some cultures give specifically to science and data driven things. That's just how they were raised. So we were all raised differently, but I really wanted to bring that in. But also with PC Group 365, I wanted to become a nonprofit because I also wanted to create at that time like a volunteer pipeline for us to see what was going on in the community, because I would always get people to ask me, okay, how can I volunteer? I don't know how to volunteer and all of those things. So at the time, I guess something that was similar to what my idea was Hands on Charlotte. And if those that live here in Charlotte, if you remember Hands on Charlotte was basically a volunteer based organization where you could go become a part of the volunteer staff. It was huge, it was big, and you can go out and just sign up for different volunteer projects. Hands on Charlotte, I believe, is closed, or maybe it was absorbed by, I feel like United Way, but don't quote me on that. But it was something I was like, yes, because when you think about it, when it comes to volunteerism, you don't really see the position for volunteer coordinators anymore. You don't see people posting for those positions, but you do need someone to help you in order to solicit volunteers and to help you do movement, because that's free labor. So that was the beginning of the problem that I saw within the nonprofit space back in 2013. Now with Stellenbosch University, the problem that I am solving is is connecting the next generation to the current generation so they can make better decisions about what they want to do with their careers. And even though we're teaching them about entrepreneurship, we do teach them about entrepreneurship, which is how to go into the workplace and still be a leader and still be a boss within your own right, so you can continue to make change in the world. And I knew from my own personal story from coming out of college that I did not know what I wanted to do. I did not know where I wanted to go. I was kind of like, you need to go to school. You have to go to school and you get you a good job and blah, 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 blah. But honestly, I wasn't happy with my job. And because I was naturally good at something doesn't mean that's where my passion lied. So I feel like teaching young girls earlier or sooner how to connect with what that passion or what brings them joy, like Marie Kondo says, then it does help along with your life journey. So I'm saying all that to say that you definitely need to understand why you want to start a nonprofit, but you also need to start to dive deep into the problem that you're solving. Okay, so we all know that there are so many problems in the world. Right now, we are in the space of racial equity. Racial equity has been an issue for years and years, so we'll always need that. But it is right now, I don't want to use the word trend, but it is something that's trending. It's the same thing with back when teen pregnancy used to trend. Teen pregnancy had a trending moment where teen pregnancy is still happening now, but years ago, I remember right before MTV came out with Teen Mom, it was like that show was supposed to be created to kind of get teen pregnancy to come down, but I think it may be actually increased teen pregnancy because they made those kids stars. But you have different trends when it comes to the philanthropy space. But what is the problem that you see and what do you want to solve? And what's unique is that if you are a grassroots leader, which means if you have a small organization and you are out here in these streets and you are seeing things from a whole different perspective, and that perspective is very important because it's so many little micro things that if we were to dive deep into change, it would change other trajectories in different people's lives, right? So if we talk about education, there is a lot of data and a lot of research about how kids cannot read past a third grade level. So we have organizations like Read Charlotte that is helping to close that gap. But also, what if it's about math? What if it's about another subject, English? What if it's about other things? So as a grassroots leaders, you do see things from a certain perspective that helps you to move forward and provide a solution. So that goes into solution. So how will your organization make a difference? And these are the things that you should think about and list way, 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 way before you get a tax ID, way before you say, I want a nonprofit. You really need to dive deep into the why you want to start a nonprofit and what the problem that you're solving and what's the part of the solution and how are you going to be a part of the solution. Okay. So what's next here? So I put here the why, but really the question is, what is your impact? And I'm not just saying that from a analytical or program evaluation way, because when you start to dive deeper into getting grants or asking for money, you need to show what your organization does as an impact, right? You need to show the measurable things that you do that shows that what you're offering is providing a solution and is making people get further in their lives, right? So if I use a nonprofit as a case study for an example, one nonprofit that I really have followed this CEO. She is the founder of Dress for Success, which is national. But after Dress for Success, after she left, she went to the crisis text line. So the crisis text line is all about suicide prevention. And what was unique about it is that they use what we use every day. This good old cell phone. Don't laugh at mine because it's cracked. But basically, you can text someone that is thinking about suicide. They can text and have a conversation with somebody through the crisis text line, which is amazing because even though we all know the power of this cell phone, we all know that if somebody texts you or call you, it will stop you in your tracks from doing something. And I'm not necessarily even talking about suicide. What I'm talking about, if somebody called me right now and if I happen to see my phone ring, it will get me distracted and discombobulated because I'm like, wait, who that? What they want? You know what I'm saying? It's just a natural thing with what cell phones do. So to tie that with suicide prevention is extremely genius to me because it does stop someone in their track and it does give someone to talk to. Because some people that are in the mode of committing suicide, they are not going to tell someone that they're close to. They're not going to naturally do that. They will talk easier to a stranger than someone that they love or that they know. So how do you measure that impact? So I'm pretty sure with the crisis text line that they looked at their rates of how many texts that came in, how long the conversations last, how many people did not. I'm sure they had surveys. I know with us, with Stiletto Bosch University, we have pre-surveys, we have post-surveys. So we are measuring the impact. We also measure, we train young girls how to be entrepreneurs. So when they start with us, they don't have a business idea, but when they finish with us, they do. And that's the way that we measure our impact. We also are diving deep and measuring our impact with how much money do they generate. We look at their marketing. We look at how long they stay. We look at those that have graduated. Where are they? Did they change their majors? Because we have introduced certain things to some of our participants that they're naturally good at, but it may not be the accounting major. It may be graphic design, or they may have completely changed their mind because they've been exposed to something that they didn't even know was a possibility. So we track all of that through surveys, but also from just a surface level, because I gave you a high level way of looking at impact. But from a surface level, how do you want to impact? So if I use another example or what I'm calling case study, like if you wanted to do a book bag drive, let's say you do the book bag drive and you count how many book bags do you give out per year. But one thing that you could take to the next level about your impact is actually tracking those students, or actually offering tutoring to those students that you provided book bags to. Because if you offer something to them, you can measure your impact better. So I really hope that makes sense. But really start jotting down how are you going to measure impact, because that's going to be important in the long run, and it's going to help you stretch your idea and understand your why even more importantly. So next, the mission. Whew. You got to have a mission. So the mission is basically summarizing what the goal of your organization. It also includes the problem and the solution. So you have to have a mission statement. I would even encourage you to have a vision statement. I would even encourage you to have some type of tagline, what it is that you do, what is it that you offer. And I know at Stiletto Boss University, we're teaching about power of collaboration, sisterhood, and how that affects community impact. That is what we do. That's what we enjoy doing, and we have examples for how we do it. That's our formula. But with your mission, you may have different iterations of it. Like our mission changed. Our mission didn't change. The words changed, but not what the goal was. So I put 3 things here: statement 1, statement 2, and statement 3, because I would advise you to write your mission statement 3 different ways and find out what resonates the most with you. Have a strategy team, have people that you trust, people that are going to be in the community or that want to support you, see what they think about the mission, and does it clearly articulate the problem and the solution. I also would advise that you look at a mixture of different missions. So you can look at national organizations that are similar to what you do, because one thing that I failed to mention early is to make sure that you are researching. Research. Look to see if someone is doing what you do. Look to see how many organizations are doing those things. Look to see what their mission statements are. Look to see what their services are. Not to copy, but you are offering something new. Also, it may be where you just need to join forces with them versus starting your own nonprofit. Because I tell all of my clients before you start a nonprofit to research, but also you may need to join forces and volunteer or serve underneath someone else who has already put it in and have systems in place, because this work is not for the faint of heart. Just like any business, it's not. So look into other organizations that offer what you want to offer, that have some idea, and actually study them, see what they're missing, see what they have, see what you would do different. You know what I'm saying? And look at their mission statement and just jot down some notes and figure out what it is. But create 3 different iterations of your mission statement. So next, so tax ID. And I did a deep sigh because tax ID is easy. Okay, tax ID is free. It is easy to get your tax ID. Tax ID is basically your social security number for your organization. It allows donors to pull you up and determine that you are a nonprofit. You need your tax ID because you will have to report back to the IRS. You have different forms. You have a 990 that is specific and exclusive to nonprofits, but there's different iterations of that. And I'm not going to go too deep into 990s because I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, and I haven't told y'all who all are joining us every month, but my accountant, my personal accountant and friend, and she also is a founder of a nonprofit. She will be joining us for one of these monthly sessions, and she is going to dive deep into the 990 process. And I'm excited about that. So I'm not going to go too deep, but your tax ID is important because you need it, right? So, and your tax ID is important because that's what people will use to write off donations. So after you've gone through what is your problem, what is the solution, what is your why, what is the mission statement, the vision statement, and the tagline, you can file for your tax ID, but also think deeply about what you're going to name your organization. So a lot of times people don't know what they're going to name their organization. Sometimes it comes to them very easily, but sometimes it doesn't. So before you even go to apply for your tax ID, make sure that you have decided upon the name that you want it to be. So that is extremely important as well. But you do need a tax ID, and it is free. So that's all that I'm going to put there. And we're going to have a deep dive into taxes and accounting for nonprofits. I'm not going to tell y'all which month, but it's coming. So I'm looking out for y'all because I got some fire people coming. I'll share later. All right. So Article of Incorporation. So Articles of Incorporation, this is basically a legal structure for your business. Because remember, like I said earlier, nonprofits are a business. So the legal structure for your business, you have to register with your state as a nonprofit. So you would go to the Secretary of State website and you would file your Articles of Incorporation and you would select nonprofit. That you do have to pay for. I cannot give you an exact price because it depends on where you're at, but you do have to pay for it. Okay. So tax ID first, Articles of Incorporation after that. Okay. So let me move on. We are moving through this. And if you have any questions, like I said, put it in the chat. This slide. So nonprofit status. So in order to get your 501c3, which legitimizes your organization, it gives you a letter of determination saying that you are in fact tax exempt. You have to file and complete an application that's called 1023. Now, next month, I believe it's next month, I'm going to dive into 1023 forms because there are two. There's the 1023 that is the original, and there's the 1023 EZ form. EZ form. You have to decide which one you're going to apply for. One, the 1023 original, it is long. It's maybe like 12 pages long, and it's a lot of documentation that you have to submit. The 1023 EZ is more streamlined and it's shorter, and I believe it's only 4 pages, and it does not cost as much. Okay, so you have to decide which one you're going to do, and I will dive deeper into that next month. Now, I will say with JSM Consulting now, we do not, I'm going to say it again, we do not do 1023 forms. We used to do them. We used to do the 1023 EZ for our clients. Our last client that we did that for, she was approved. Shout out to Kappa Inc. We coached her through the process, but we do not do anything that relates to 1023 sending the applications. There is a reason for that. The 1023 is easy and coachable to get you through the process, but it is very time consuming, and where we shine and where our magic is coaching you to get your program up and running and to get you to do something that is sustainable. But I will dive deeper into this subject next month, but these are the steps in order for you to get your 501c3 status. Okay, so let's keep it moving. All right, so bylaws and policies. So you have to have bylaws when you are filing, especially if you do the 1023, the original form. They are going to ask you for your bylaws. Okay, they're going to ask you for those things. The 1023 EZ, you still need them, but they're not going to ask you to submit it. But you do need bylaws. And what you see here is a huge stop, and it says get a lawyer. And guess what, guys? I will be having my lawyer come on for one of these sessions. I'm not going to tell y'all which one because I need to look at the calendar, but she will come on and she will talk about the legal things that you need as an NPO. So again, I'm looking out for y'all. I'm giving y'all all the goods every month, every second Wednesday at 6:30, right? So, but you do need to have bylaws. It outlines accountability for your organization, your team, and your constituents. It's also important because you're going to have board of directors. So your board of directors are basically, they run your nonprofit. You may be the founder or the ED, but you report to the board, right? So they pretty much, they're running. They could fire you if they want to. So we'll dive deeper into that. But You do need to have bylaws and policies, and my honest and sincere and thorough advice is this is where you need to get a lawyer, and you need to have the conversation about what your bylaws should outline and what it is that you want to put in it, because you can put what you need in bylaws. There are standard bylaws, but you can make some changes and make it what works for you. Okay? So got your bylaws, you got your policies, right? So here we are. So one thing that I want you to take away, I want you to, one, make sure you validate your reason as to why you want to start a nonprofit. Hey, I don't know, I can't see who's here, but hey, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. I can see that you guys are saying something, but I don't see the name. So if you want to ask me a question, just put your name, say, hey, Jania, this is such and such, and let me know your question. But I see someone said I'm here. So hello, thanks for joining us. So first takeaway I want you to do is validate your reason why you want to start a nonprofit. And while you validating your reasons, I want you to start researching other organizations that are similar to what it is that you want to do. One thing that I did not share in the beginning is start to survey the community that you serve, because that is uber important. I remember before I started Stiletto Boss University, I had a meeting with the community that I was going to serve, which was Greer Heights. And we had a meeting with the youth there. And I was like, do y'all want to learn entrepreneurship? Tell me why. What do you think an entrepreneur is? I asked them a series of questions. Now, you can do surveys. You can do, I know we are in lockdown mode, so you can probably post a survey. You can engage people maybe on your Instagram. I know they have polls. That will be some way creative to engage people if they're interested in a nonprofit, or do they think this is needed. But think about the questions you want to ask your community to make sure that you want that. The last takeaway, I wish I did this. And even though I am a coach, I wish I did this sooner. Now, I do have a coach, in full transparency, because I'm not the type that's like, oh, you need to get a coach, and I don't have one. I do have an executive coach that I go through things with. And she of course has done organizations that are that generate more revenue and money than SBU at this time, but she's coaching me to greatness. And that's why I specifically focus on grassroots leaders to coach them, because I want to coach them to greatness so they won't make the same mistakes that I did. And give me 1 second. I need to take a quick swallow of water. I'm trying to drink a gallon of water a day, and my friend bought me this amazing jug, and I'm almost there. So give me a second to take a drink of water. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me go make sure I'm on the right comment. Okay, I don't see anything. Get you a coach though. Uber important. Get your coach to help you, because if you don't have someone to help you or strategize, even if you just have a coach where you can just maybe book an hour. And what I'll say with me coaching people, we have it broken down. It's almost like a membership. So you have, we have a $500 tier where you get 4 1-hour meetings with me per month. You get custom workbooks. I will help you from beginning to end, unlimited emails. Then we go to $350 per month, where you get, I believe that is 2 2-hour meetings with me, and you can break that up into 30-minute segments, unlimited emails, and custom workbooks. And then I have a $150 package where you'll get 1 1-hour meeting with me. And when I say 1-hour meetings, we're strategizing. We are getting you from idea to execution, idea, implementation, execution. So I do have that. And then also I do have my hourly rate, which is under $150, that if you need to have a consultation or something with me to really just map things out, we're doing that as well. We will eventually have accelerator groups. So I will have groups of people that want to start a nonprofit or in the process of starting a nonprofit, where I'll be doing group coaching. But I'm also doing the free trainings here in this private Facebook page. So if you guys know somebody or anybody that would be interested, Share with them this page. It is private for a reason, but it is open to those that want to learn. Okay, so those are my takeaways. Validate your reason as to why you want to start a nonprofit. Do your research of other organizations. Start surveying your community and get a coach. All right. So, what are your action items after this training? So, one, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and get your tax ID. So go get your EIN, which means employee identification number. I know some people, one of my friends, she was like, is tax ID the same thing as EIN? And I'm like, it does have multiple names. But yeah, if you've decided on your name, you've done all the things that I've suggested in our checklist, which is a free downloadable on our website, please go ahead, move forward, get your tax ID. That's the first step. It is free. Next step, if you're ready, go ahead and apply for your articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State for wherever you reside. Get that, select nonprofit, pay for that. You have to do those things before you can even apply for your 501c3. While you're doing that, you can write your mission and vision statement. Now, the 4 action items are not in any particular order. These are just things I'm suggesting you to do. And the last thing is start writing down people on your board. Who do you want to be on your board? Who do you want to be a part of this journey with you to serve the community in a unique way? Now, I have not decided if I'm going to do a training about board development because that is very, very important. But I will say this. If you are about to start a nonprofit and you are looking for a board, make sure you're intentional about who you want to be on your board. And when I say intentional, I mean that you're looking at people that have expertise, that have social capital, that are down for working for the community, that see the problem, that supports your vision. You want to think about it holistically because, like I said about 5 minutes ago, that your board actually runs your organization. And it's important that you know that. It's important that the board that you bring together are aligned with what you're trying to do for the community because they're the ones that you have to run things by to approve and to move forward. So if you guys don't have any questions, I don't see any here. So I did want to leave off, if you know me, I am a quote girl. So the quote that I want to leave off with today is the mind is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets and the more it can expand. And nonprofit, just like anything else, is something that you have to pour into and you have to give your all. You have to be a part of being the difference, being the change that you want to see. And it is a lot of education that goes with it. You know, I am not sharing this with you because I'm sharing with you because it's the truth. You know, I have learned so much in this journey. I have my nonprofit management certificate from Duke University. I have learned from experiences. I have learned from observation, and I am a nerd. If you really know the trueness of it all, I am a true nerd, and I have studied this. I love helping people, and I love serving them, but I want people to do it the right way. And that's just the bottom line. So that's why I'm doing these trainings to help you guys. So if you do not have any questions, I am going to end this training today with the NPO checklist. Again, you can get it for free off of the website. It is a free downloadable. I also put it in the actual Facebook private page group, the link. If you have any questions, I do want to share with you guys. Hold on one second. I do want to share with you guys our website where you can find this information. So let me get it up for you. Hold on for 1 second. So you guys can see this. So this is how you go on our website to get the nonprofit checklist. So it's literally attached on our home page, any page that you click on here. And our website is actually about to change. So, but it'll always be here. It is a free downloadable here. But we also have the nonprofit shop. So the nonprofit shop is custom workbooks that we have created. Some branding will change, so you will see some difference in the website soon. But we do have a workbook on fundraising 101, accessing community needs and resources, creating and maintaining partnerships. We have the nonprofit workbooks that basically walk you through how to build a sustainable organization. And we have a workbook on becoming a community leader. We also have online courses where you will hear me teaching everything about the nonprofit workbook. You'll hear me actually teaching and giving you quizzes and worksheets and things to help you build that out, as well as fundraising 101. And there is a special thing when you do purchase that as well. We have our actual shop. So we have an apparel line. I'm actually wearing an item right now on this particular item. I don't know if you can see it, but it says give. It says offering from the heart. So this is one of our sweatshirts. It comes in many colors. We also have volunteers. So we have really cool things. But the stuff that we have on our apparel shop is to support giving and to make it, let you know that giving is dope. You'll hear me say that all the time. So definitely check out our nonprofit shop, and percentage of those proceeds go back into the community. Also, if we are coaching you, you have a special portal here. And this portal will give you access to your trainings and your one-on-one workbooks and our notes and everything that we discuss. And then we also have Giving is Dope Media. We have a YouTube page, which is here. We have our 1-minute clips, which you see here on here, but we also have it directly on our YouTube page. We will be sharing 1-minute clips. So we have so much stuff that's on our website at this point that is here to help you be the best community leader as possible. So I definitely wanted to share that with you. Our website will be changing. We're going through an audit right now, so you'll see a whole new look in March. So I'll probably come back and show you at a later time. But if you don't have any questions about the nonprofit checklist, these are the things that you need to have in order to start a nonprofit. I'm going to end it. We're ending it a little bit early, but next month, I believe we will be talking about 501c3 and the 1023 form. And then after that, we're going to be talking about fiscal agent. And then I believe that's when my lawyer is going to come on. So I believe in May, we're going to have my lawyer come on and tell you all the legal things that you need to know as a nonprofit. So let me know in the chat if this was helpful. And I hope you have a blessed day and a blessed remainder of the week. And I will see you next month on the second Wednesday, 6:30. So bye. Have a good one.